everybody. Welcome to Stella Live online. My name is Caroline Barrett and I'm the editor. Before we're joined by Alex Jones, just a couple of things. You'll see to the right of your screen, hopefully, there's an option to ask Alex questions at the end and also say a quick hello, so I can put those to her in the latter part of our interview. And also there will be a couple of special offers coming up, which are just for you. If you want to see them, then please click on them. If you don't, there's a little arrow at the bottom and you can turn them off. So let's start. A very warm welcome to Alex Jones.
Hi! Hello!
It worked! How are you?
No, look at us. We're so pleased that it just worked.
Because we're not good at tech.
No, terrible. Really
and you're in your makeup room, is that right? At the one room?
So this is the makeup room, and we also kind of keep a rail of current stuff, you know? So these are sort of the options at the minute.
So might see you on TV tonight in one of those outfits, yeah?
Probably, yeah. Anybody got any preference? Just let me know, and I can see what I can do. But yeah, some nice bits there. Not all of these have been tried on though.
Lovely.
So I'll do a little, because I'm in early. I'll do a little trial session. But yeah, this is the makeup room as well. So yeah, and nobody comes in here before I do, so I thought perfect.
Welcome and thank you for coming on to Stella Live. I know when we spoke at the beginning of the year, it was a whole different type of world, and we'd hoped to be with you in person at the Saatchi Gallery, but this is the next best thing. And obviously during lockdown, you have broadcast throughout the whole of lockdown on the One Show. How's it been?
Well, I mean, I guess the first thing is that it's been a huge privilege to still be able to do the job. I mean, personally, you know, I know loads of people, obviously, everybody has been decimated in terms of financially, but by the outbreak of the coronavirus. And so I feel genuinely like one of the lucky ones where I can still go to work, and more than that, still have a routine. You know, in terms of mental health, still being able to leave the house every day to go and do the job you like was really key for us. And it kept, I mean, things at home, which we'll get on to, have been tricky. But, you know, in terms of keeping a routine and the boys being used to seeing me go to work, that's really good. And as I say, you know, loads of really close friends, close family members. Oh, it's turned their world upside down.
I mean,
sorry,
were you conscious, because I know we were as Stella magazine, is when lockdown first happened, were you conscious of getting the tone of the show right, so that it represented what your viewers were going through back at home?
Oh, massively. And I guess it was sort of changing daily, you know, right at the beginning. If you think back to around maybe the 13th of March and then the 2 weeks following that, and it was just changing daily. And as a team, every day, honestly, about 30 people were disappearing from the office. It was like, okay. It was like the apocalypse. It was like, where's everybody gone?
Including your co-star. I mean, obviously Matt left as well, didn't he?
Oh my God. Well, and that wasn't planned. So we kind of started on the Monday and things were changing quite a lot. For example, normally we'd have 70 people in the studio, and suddenly we've got 4.
I mean, that's a massive drop. That's a huge
massive drop. And upstairs normally we've got 150, and now every day only 8 come in. So it's a huge difference. And so Matt and I, we thought, okay, we're just going to kind of get to grips with this. And then the next day he texted me and he said, oh wow, I don't feel great. I was like, what? And he said, well, Luke, his little boy, has been sent home from school with a cough. And as a result, we are going to have to self-isolate. And I thought, oh my God, okay. So that was a big shock, because we knew as well that he was sort of running up to his last day. And as it happened, he never made it back.
Oh, it's such a shame. Like 10 years of being together. That's such a shame.
I know. And we never kind of, you know, to say goodbye and Matt be on his sofa and me be on the green sofa. I mean, the only good thing was that we couldn't have really had a big hug.
It
would have been a bit weird. But the fact that we were waving goodbye through a screen was just not the end to nearly a day of co-presenting we thought. So, and that really, I suppose, brought it home for me how weird the situation was.
I mean, you have adapted well. I mean, you're very good at doing a Zoom interview or your equivalent of whatever, because you're talking to all your guests through a screen, aren't you? Because they can't come on the sofa. Although some people have come on and sort of sat at a bit of a distance.
Yeah.
And
so we've got,
and also you've had a different, a co-host as well has been different every week. So you've had big challenges to overcome.
Yeah, so every week, obviously after Matt, we then have to start thinking, okay, who's going to co-present? So I did some shows on my own. And then, you know, the thing is, because we've worked right the way through it, you can't underestimate, though, for people who have been in lockdown, it's quite an odd concept to think, okay, I need to go into central London to a television studio. Is it going to be safe? And so at the beginning, we had to have people who were in kind of close proximity to the studio. We were trying to think of people who weren't shielding or living with somebody who was shielding. It was tricky. You know, now things are easing up a little bit, so things are getting easier. And actually, we found now that we've got this kind of pool of people that work. But I mean, we were thinking of, you know, finding the new presenter while it's all gone out the window. Everything's just up in the air. But actually, as a team, I think we've really pulled together.
Amazing.
And I have weirdly really enjoyed it, because actually we're so British, aren't we? You know, there's nothing like a crisis.
Crack on a lot, I know. But you people who are watching this, you'll be pleased to know we've actually got Alex on our cover in a few weeks' time, which is really exciting. But I know I've already read the interview, and you say quite a lot. Well, you've just got to crack on, haven't you?
Well, I mean, that's it. I mean, you really do have to crack on. And everybody, I think every household has faced different challenges. I mean, I'll be honest, when this first became a thing and Teddy, my eldest son's nursery, shut down, I started thinking, oh, what? You know, how on earth is this going to work? And then slowly our bedroom turned from being a bedroom, which, to be honest, still needs work. I mean, it's not the best bedroom. But suddenly, you know, the only nice thing in it is this lovely antique dressing table. And suddenly, and still is, that became my husband's desk. And then one day he pulled down this lovely sort of piece of art we've got in the bedroom and replaced it with a whiteboard. And I thought,
great,
I'm not a disaster. So, you know, I think every household have had a thing. And for me, coming to work in the afternoon has been great in one way, but it means then that my husband's trying to do a full-time job while juggling a baby and a toddler. So I kind of do the morning, then I come here and I leave myself literally 7 minutes to have a shower or something ridiculous, so that I can be with them as close to the wire. You know, it's no different.
Has it been emotional? Because you had this really lovely, I think there was a group of medical students quite early on in lockdown who couldn't have their graduation. You gave them their graduation and they all popped up on Zoom in their gowns. And then literally the next week they were all going off on the front line to do their thing. And it was at that height when everyone was feeling very emotional anyway. It was so wonderful. But how have you dealt with the sort of the emotion of being on telly, and also what sort of response have you had from the viewer?
Well, I suppose they talk about this corona coaster, don't they? And it's sort of been like that. You know, some days, you know, personally and professionally, you sort of feel, right, fine, we can do this. Everything's going, you know, as well as it can be. And the items would be quite uplifting and fun. But then some days, of course, you have to reflect what's going on. And we went through a long period where, you know, just before us would be the 6 o'clock news, and they'd announced the death toll for the day. And I mean, it was scarily high. I mean, it still is. But, you know, and then we'd have items, like you say, that were uplifting, like the graduation, because obviously all these medical students couldn't graduate. And so we had them on Zoom and they threw their caps up. And it was
so nice.
I know, but then I thought, oh my goodness, as they are parents, you know, they must be terrified because they're sending these doctors into, you know, into this sort of war zone, really, onto the front line, and, you know, with no experience, not a lot of kind of training, and in really serious situation. And just as a parent, my heart was breaking for them, because they must have been so proud, but yet so terrified.
Yeah.
And you know, it's just, I suppose, bad luck that this was the year,
and
wasn't
amazing that, you know, you were able to do something for them. But God, yeah. And you had a lovely letter from an 83-year-old as well, didn't you?
Oh, so I suppose the correspondence with kind of viewers of all ages has been our lifeline really throughout the whole thing. Loads of emails, and then we've had some, you know, handwritten cards from some viewers, and there was one from a lady who was 83, and she just said, oh gosh, it makes me upset now. She said, thank you so much for bringing the show into my living room every night, because you're the only family I see.
It's a big responsibility, isn't it? It's a big,
huge. But then that makes you, I don't know, I suppose it made me feel even luckier to be that person who could be the constant for lots of people who couldn't go out, you know, because even though, okay, over the last few weeks, some of us have moved and kind of started going out to the park or going into the car for a little drive, but there is still an awful lot of people who can't do that.
You're a lifeline to them, basically.
On the show that was constant. I know, you know, even when this is hopefully all over, you know, I'll still look back on this time as a really difficult, tricky time, but a time that will be always so important, you know, in terms of the show's history. And when the connection with our viewers felt strongest. Oh my God, what's wrong with me? I think it's my periods too.
So for your day job is you're a mum to 2 little boys. You've got Teddy, who's 3. We both have 3-year-olds. So, and you have well, let me just double check. Kit, who's 1. Have I got that right? Yes. And your husband has been off work, or he's been working from home. So during the day, you've been playing mum. How's the juggle?
Well, I mean, I suppose I could give you the telly answer, which is, oh my gosh, you know, it's good, you know, we've got it all sorted, and I do the morning, he does the afternoon. Or I could give you the real answer,
one,
which is, I mean, tricky, impossible. Someday it's a shambles.
Because I guess this the 4 of you. People, I think, will probably think you've got a nanny, you've got this going on. You haven't. It's the 4 of you, like so many women and so many people doing the juggle. It's the 4 of you. You're obviously up early in the morning. What's your routine? You get up quite early, don't you?
Well, I don't think I've got a choice in it, to be honest. But my husband is really bad in the morning, and so the children are up at the minute, because it's light and the birds are singing, around 5:30. I mean, we are downstairs before CBBS.
Oh, that's bad. When you're up before CBBS. Is that how it goes?
By 10 o'clock, it's like, oh God, should we have a gin and tonic? Because it feels like it's about 4. But Kit has just turned 1, so he also doesn't sleep in the night.
Great. So you've got that as well.
But, you know, it's kind of the wind tunnel, isn't it? When the children are really little, it's what it is. And we are not doing homeschooling, and oh my goodness, I don't know how people have managed that. You know, I still felt a little bit of pressure to do kind of nursery stuff.
He asked you quite early on where all his friends had gone when it first started. It breaks you, doesn't it?
So a few weeks in, he just said, and you know, we have to remember then the weather wasn't as it is now, and so we were very much inside, and you know, and he just turned to me one day and he said, Mama, why I got no friends anymore?
God, did you feel like your heart was going to break? It's so sad.
Yeah, it was, and trying to explain to a 3-year-old that, you know, there's these germs, and I mean, I guess there's, you know, people probably listen to this now thinking, the problem is actually reversing it as well, because I was so paranoid at the beginning. Don't touch anything. Okay, move to the side. You know, when we were out and about on the weekend going for a walk, don't touch anything. And then there'd be like the gel out, and there'd be the wipes. And I got to the point where I was just using flash wipes, which is probably really bad, isn't it?
Literally,
like, what have we got left here? And you know, and then for a little while, when I'd say, "Oh, come on, let's go for a walk, let's get some air," and he just wouldn't want to go, and it would take like an hour to get him out
the other way.
So gradually that's getting better, but I don't know, I do worry, like I'm sure lots of people do, about the kind of effect this is all
effect,
gonna.
I mean, like they say something like, well, there's new stats say that 70% of women are doing everything. They're doing the household chores, they're going to work, that's very high. Have you found that a lot of pressure? And have you found that Charlie suddenly realizes everything that you do now that he's sort of having to do it as well?
I mean, we haven't had that chat because I think that would just open a can of worms, if I'm honest. But I do think that his eyes have been open to actually, I mean, because I don't know, I suppose like lots of mothers, I pack the bag before we go out. You've just got it down. You know what needs to be thrown in. You can do it in 5 minutes, blah, 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 blah. And he took them out one afternoon. And then he was like, oh, because we were just in the park. And then, Kit had a poo. And I was like, well, didn't you have the bag?
And all of a sudden, all those things.
Said, but we were only going across the road. I said, yeah, but going across the road or to Australia, I mean, a baby's going to poo. Do you know what I mean? But he's brilliant with them. It's just the little things.
The things that they don't think, because they've thought, well, I've got them dressed and I've got them out. Well, we're all right then, aren't we?
Yeah. I have to say, he's amazing with, I mean, he does most of the cooking for the boys because that's his thing. And we've always balanced it like that. I'm happy to do the mornings. I'm more of a morning person. He'll do the food for the boys because that's his thing. He'll take them out to the park in the afternoon while he let me maybe just have 2 minutes to tidy the kitchen. Normally nothing glamorous, but do you know what I mean? But I think it's the details that, and I don't want to put people in a box, but maybe the details that on the whole mothers take care of. Just kind of gone,
because you're doing it all the time, perhaps, if you're the one who's at home the most. That's exactly,
and I don't know about your house, but our house, I mean, it's a pigsty. Because I just can't keep on top.
Oh, you move one toy or you move one thing, you might as well. My thing is now is I'll do it all at 5 o'clock, because it's just no point. Every time you tidy something up, there's something else that comes out, isn't there?
I know. And just even trying to change the beds, and then suddenly there's a toddler and a baby in the empty sheet, and you're like, you know what, everything takes so long. But the upside is, I think, and it's a massive upside, especially for Charlie, was that, he was doing an office job, which kind of doesn't really make it, it's fine, but he doesn't love it. And he'd leave in the morning, come back at night. So he'd leave just as sort of quite early. The boys would be up, but I mean, he's crap in the morning. So it'd be like shower, quick goodbye to the boys, off he'd go. And in the night, they'd be in bed by the time he came home. And so, Monday to Friday, he didn't really have a relationship with them, just kind of on the weekends. And that's completely changed. And for me, that is the main advantage.
Yeah, it's nice.
The positive that's come out of the situation. I mean, obviously terrible things have happened, but you have to, I feel, look for
exactly
huge. That's huge.
Do you feel a responsibility, because you are high profile and because you are a working mum? Do you feel a real responsibility to represent working mums well? Do you feel that burden, or not even such a burden, but you feel like you're part of the community in doing that?
Yeah, I mean, there's, I think now more than, I've got something on the screen.
You can click the little out cross at the bottom. Everyone watching, you can click the little cross at the bottom. I think now more than ever, there's so many, there feels like there's a support network on Instagram. I don't know, there feels like mothers are really relying on each other, and it might have always been there, but I suppose until you're a mum, you're not. You don't engage with it, do you? Because
it's not on your horizon. It's not on your radar. But in terms of feeling pressure, I just honestly just to get through the day like everybody else, and I get it wrong so much. But I think by speaking quite honestly and open about it, I think that's all you can do, because I have it myself where I'm looking through Instagram, I'm normally at like 11:30 when I really should be sleeping, but I just feel that's the only time.
You've got time for yourself.
And there I am thinking I'm not going to sleep now because I'm looking at my phone, but there you are. And, you see all these photos of people, I don't know, just it looks like they've had the best day. And if you have a terrible day, it does terrible things to your mindset.
But like, you've been on telly, you've interviewed, like last night, Dame Judi Dench, you've interviewed all these people, so people probably think that about you as well, don't they? So it's all sort of a bit of a
it's all a bit weird, isn't it? But yeah, I mean, for me, that's just, you know, God, it's a job I absolutely adore, but it just happens to be the job I do, you know. And when I'm at home, I'm literally, it's kind of shoes off, right, sleeves up, here we go again.
Do you drive yourself to work, or do you, I mean, so do you have any sort of thing that you do on the way home to sort of calm down? Because you must have adrenaline when you come off at live telly, and then you've got to walk.
Well, you know what I really do? So I don't normally drive myself, but obviously it was safer during this time, and I quite like it because it just gives you that space to be on your own for a minute. But I always call Mum on the way back, and the first thing she'll always say is, "I wasn't sure about that dress."
You're like, great, thanks for that, Mum. Brilliant.
I'm like, cool, like 4-5 million have just watched that, me in that dress, so that's all right then. Never anything about the content, but it's always the dress or the, you know, whatever the outfit is. That, but it's just nice to kind of, and I kind of decompress with her, and then we'll straight away we'll get on to, so she'll say, so how's the boys? Oh, well, you never guessed this morning, you know. And she's kind of my sounding board, really. I mean, she's,
have you missed them, because they're in Wales, aren't they, your mum and dad? And I know, I mean, my mum was in Yorkshire, and you realise, don't you, how much they do for you, and also just those milestones that they're missing out on when then, I imagine, you know, Kit's probably walking her start, you know, it's all of that, isn't it?
It's really tough. I mean, we saw them last at the end of February. And as you say, because they're in Wales, the rules there are different. And so we've been able to see them. And I think Kit's first birthday hit me a bit. I thought, you know, all the other grandchildren, they've been really present. And Mum kind of tends to take over in those circumstances. And that's fine by me. But, you know, they weren't there. We did the whole Zoom thing. But I don't know.
Kids don't really get Zoom, do they? They kind of cook up.
They don't. I mean, they just run off with the phone, and then Kit was just trying to eat the phone. And for me, just in general, I'm sort of over the Zoom thing, you know, because you do it during the day, and it's great for this sort of thing. But even talking to the girls on a Saturday night, you know, we're all in these sort of, you know, we do house party a lot. Which was really good fun.
I know, and then it lost its sort of momentum, didn't it? I know.
And you feel you've got to be on, which is ridiculous because, you know, my friends are kind of friends I've had for ages, school and uni friends, you know, and so you don't, I mean, no way do you have to be anybody but yourself, but you feel, because there's a little bit of distance and you're not actually anybody in the eye, that you kind of have to be a little bit more jazzy. And you
haven't got any excuse really for not, what's your excuse? You can't say I'm going out. Everybody's in, aren't they? I mean.
So but with Mum and Dad, I mean, I hope that we'll see them in 2 weeks, but that has been, while having Charlie home has been a huge positive, that's been the real negative for me, is being able to see Mum and Dad and realising how much of a break they give me and how much support they are. And you know, you started thinking at one point, God, how long is this going to go on for? And they're not getting younger. The children are, I mean, where's the end here, you know? But hopefully there's a bit of
what do you do to relax then? I mean, do you have moments to yourself? I know you normally would go to the gym, or you would, so what have you been doing to switch off?
Well, I used to try, I mean, I'm not very good at sport and all of that, but I you know, I do like to kind of just get out into the open and do something in the morning. But it's really weird. I tried to do it this morning, but for the last month I've just felt so heavy. Normally I could do sort of 5-6k, nothing amazing, but I can't even, I have difficulty running to the end of the street. Everything's heavy, and I think it's because, maybe without me even realizing, it's the effect of everything suddenly. Just, you know, I just thought that this morning, is it that we're all just knackered? But to relax, I mean, wine.
It's wine. That's everyone's going, 1 o'clock. Is your 1 o'clock then? What time do you get home at night? Is it 9:30?
So no, I get home at about 8:15.
Right. Okay. So.
And then and normally I just kind of chat on the phone to girlfriends, or me and Charlie will just have like we'll sit in the kitchen, put some music on, and just put the world to right. I mean, there's all these things about people been having dates. We haven't done that. I mean, we haven't laid the table.
Oh no, I don't put a nice dress on, or yeah.
But I suppose our version is we sit in the kitchen without telly on, with a bit of music, bottle of wine, and it's, you know, it's nice. I mean, I don't really miss going out that much. It's not weird, you know, in terms of to bars.
Yeah.
I've always liked a kitchen disco.
Well, now I'm just looking at, sorry if I look a bit distracted, but I put on my reader questions so I can see everybody pinging up. So I'm just going to quickly go to a couple of people. So Christine Reeves, how much more complicated is your working life with 2 children compared to 1?
Well, in some ways, it's weird, isn't it? Because in some ways, I didn't think, this is really controversial now, ready? I didn't think that going from 1 to 2 was a massive jump when I was at home, when I was on maternity leave. Because you're kind of in the zone, aren't you? You know what you need. The
world's a lot smaller, so everything is in your home and your,
Well, exactly. And I really enjoyed my maternity leave the second time. I mean, I came back, as you know, people have probably read, really quickly the first time.
Was it 4 months or was it 4 or 5 months?
It was 3.5 months.
Yeah, you're still fuzzy headed, aren't you? It's just not working. Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea. I just thought, I'll have a baby and then I'll just crack on again. And it's just not possible, really. And so the second time was really different, and I really loved being at home, and with Teddy as well, being 2. It was just a really nice time. However, I did have a bit of a shock in January when it was realizing that juggling 2 and going back to work, that for me was the big difference. So being at home with 2 on the weekends as well, I don't mind. I think going from 0 to 1 is such a huge shock. Another one is, it's tricky in the nights and things, but I think you're there more or less. I mean, you know what you're doing, so you've got the confidence about you. But just when it came to going back to work, I thought, right, well, how am I now then going to get 1 to nursery, 1 down for a sleep before the girl that looks after him comes, because the time is, and get a shower, and then you have a nanny who comes at lunchtime, so you're with the boys on your own in the morning. So I like to spend the morning with them, because I just think, you know, that's the real upside of this job, is that I do get that time. And maybe every day, because obviously other things crop up, but I have for the last 3 months, which has been brilliant. But I do at least try to have 3 mornings with them. And then so we used to have a lovely girl called Emily, who went back to New Zealand a day before lockdown.
So just added to.
So she would come at kind of 1:30. So I take Teddy to nursery, play with Kit, get him down for a nap, try and do some emails and stuff, tidy up, have a shower at that time. But you know what it's like. Sometimes they sleep, sometimes they don't.
Especially when it's hot as well.
And then go and get Teddy from nursery again, then give Kit some lunch, and then I'd leave at kind of 2:30. So but I don't know, like everybody else, I feel sometimes like I'm just on this treadmill and I cannot get off it, because if I get off it, it's all
the routine. We have another question from Chrissy. Have you stopped sweating the small stuff when it comes to kids and routine? Are they watching more Peppa Pig, basically?
Well, I mean, I hope I'm not on my own here, but Teddy has been glued to an iPad in the afternoon, because in the morning I sort of try and do some nursery kind of activities, or take him to the woods or something, or we just play, the 3 of us. But in the afternoon, poor Charlie is trying to do calls while holding Kit, and I mean, Eddie, it's like Ben and Holly are his best mates.
Ben and Holly is best friends.
I mean, it's just the way, and it's not ideal, but I've just had to let it go, because otherwise you beat yourself up. And the point is, there isn't a choice. That it's just the way it is at the minute, isn't
Well,
it?
someone has actually asked, Pamela has asked, what is your view on childcare and nannies? Do you normally have help, or do you rely on relatives and friends? I think you're a bit of both, aren't you?
Well, so my husband's parents live in Auckland in New Zealand, so that's not ideal. And mum and dad are 3 hours away.
Yeah.
So we don't have anybody on the doorstep that can help, and that is scary sometimes. But I suppose we chose it. I came to London for a job, and so did he. And so we do have, we used to. Now we're looking for a new one. But we've had a nanny who does the afternoons and puts the boys to bed with Charlie in the evening. If he can get back, he'll do like Teddy's story, but sometimes he just wouldn't get back in time. So we are reliant on that person because basically they have to be our extended family.
Of course, yeah. Just moving on to quite a few style questions as well. Emma from Birmingham messaged us earlier. Do you have a wardrobe full of clothes that you can only wear once? Do you ever wear... You don't wear the same thing twice, do you, on telly? Is that right?
Yeah, we do. But we do it. So I don't know whether you can see.
Yeah.
So this is kind of current rail. There's another kind of rail over there. But then outside the door, there are 3 wardrobes. And in there, you'll find items that we've had since 2012. I mean, some of them literally need to go to the charity shop. But so every kind of 3 months, myself and Tess, who's my stylist, we'll go through them and kind of just bring old things out and start rotating maybe old tops with new kind of bottoms. It doesn't look maybe like I wear the same thing twice.
I have to admit, I am a big One Show fan. Everyone knows that. But you never look like you, especially because you're wearing big prints that are quite identifiable, and so
so I suppose what we do, we're really careful as well with budget, and we think, okay, is it worth it? We've got to really love something if it's like a bold print, and then we'll just leave it. And then, but I think especially now, we've kind of forgotten, which is a bit of a shame, about the environmental sort of crisis.
Which was a big talking point, wasn't it, at the beginning of the year?
At the beginning of the year, it was huge, wasn't it? And so I really feel that we really try, and we try and do a lot of things. We try and reuse clothes for years and years. We also try and support small businesses, and we did a thing during lockdown because actually we couldn't get new stuff on the high street anyway. It's really sad because lots of our favourites, they've been hit so hard, haven't they? Like warehouse.
Well, I mean, and you want to support business. I mean, it could be that everyone sort of shops more mindfully now and maybe doesn't buy a lot of things, but when they do buy something, it's
and I haven't bought myself any clothes at all.
Have you missed shopping? I mean, I think people sometimes feel like they can't say that when there's such a big thing going on, but I think it's a good distraction. It's been a good distraction. Have you missed? Do you shop online or do you shop on the high street?
I'm such a granny. I just really like going into a shop. I just like the experience. So if I feel a little bit, I'm going to sound mad now, but if I'm having a bit of a bad day, so our studio is at the top of Regent Street in London, and about a quarter of a mile away is Liberty.
Which is such a lovely.
And if I'm having a bad day, I do the meeting, just nip to Liberty, and I just love the smell and
it's the experience, isn't it?
And I never buy anything, but just going in there and then maybe just having a little coffee or a cup of tea to take away, I just feel instantly lifted. I mean, I'm not a big shopper. I think because partly it's sort of a little bit like my job as well. But I'm not a big shopper because to be honest, I mean, I'm just in tracksuit bottoms at home. I mean, I look a right state. And it's nice to come into work and have that sort of other side of it.
How has it been doing your own hair and makeup? I mean, I know there's bigger things going on and we keep saying that. It's one thing me saying, God, I haven't had my hair done for you, but you're going on national telly and looking great. It looks fine to me.
Literally. So Teddy said to me about 2 weeks ago, he said, "Oh, Mama, you're still beautiful." He's a lovely boy, and blinded by his love. He said, "But your hair looked like Tiger who came to tea."
What do you say? Because kids tell the truth as well, don't they? So what do you say to that?
Well, I thought, my God, that's an amazing kind of way of describing my roots, but I thought, well, I was really put out because I thought, oh my God, it must be bad if a 3-year-old, but there's nothing I would never attempt to try and, because this, well, I don't know what this is, it's sort of highlights and things. And I just could not ever attempt. And I did think, shall I just colour it like with the semi-permanent? But then the light bits are, I just thought
you're under heavy lighting, I imagine, on telly. But also when you came back, this me, you can tell I watched the one show, your bob was just under your ears. That shows how long it's been, because it's grown, hasn't it? That's the whole thing. You've had your hair's literally grown on telly.
Oh, honestly, I looked like Grace and Perry when I came back. I don't even know what, it was just too short. And it was, he'd gone, Lewis, who cuts my hair, he said, we're going to go edgy. And I said, oh, and he said, it's good for you to have a change. I went, yeah, no, I'm up for that. I said, I want you to cut quite a lot off. And he said, okay, fine, close your eyes. So me being completely trusting and gullible, closed my eyes, opened them, and oh my goodness, it was at the point where there was nothing that could be done.
It was all this on the floor.
And that night when I rang Mum and Dad on the way home, and Mum went, well, I don't know what's happened to your hair. I thought, oh my God. So
pull it down, grow.
It has grown a bit now, but yeah, I need to do something. But makeup wise, I just feel for I feel for the girls, because obviously I've got a really close relationship with the girls who do makeup there, and they,
were they helping you? So when lockdown started, obviously, and they couldn't come on the show, did they sort of give you a quick tutorial on Zoom or something, or have you just picked it up from watching them?
Well, I suppose, yeah, over the years you sort of pick it up, but not really. I can't explain, but when they do it, there's a polish to it.
Yeah, look.
When I do it, and some days though, I'll do something like, I think we've all done this, not waited until the foundation is completely set, because I'm in a rush most of the time, before using like a wet brush. And then I give myself kind of streaky face. And then there'll be a floor manager going, Al, we've got like 4 minutes. You really need to come now. And I'd be like, oh my God, I need to take it off and start again. So I've been known with 3 minutes to go. This is my classic, with 3 minutes to go. And the PA in the gallery that we listen to is like 3 minutes to on air. And I'll think, my God, I look so pale. And I'll bring out, well, I'll show you if I can't find it. It's instant tan.
Oh, I think so you did have some quite impressive tan marks when you did your own fake tan, but
well, the thing is, the studio lights are really blue, so even if you've just come back from holiday, you still look quite pale if you have. And I look like, honestly, I look like Aunt Sally. Well, I've got a bit of a tendency for too much blusher, but I look like Aunt Sally, and I look ish normal on camera. So it's quite hard to
it's hard to get there's experts, I guess. That's why there's we have another question as well. Are you planning on bringing out any more parenting books? Because when you had Ted, you did a book, didn't you, not long after?
I don't know what I was thinking, because it nearly killed me trying to write.
And you did write it, you wrote it, and it was, so were you getting home from work, doing it on a night?
And then I met somebody about 6 weeks ago, and she said, oh, I read that book because I had a baby at the same time. And I said, oh, a bit embarrassed, thank you, sort of thing. And she said, why did you write it yourself? I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, not many people write their own books. This was a revelation to me.
So no one said that to you.
I just thought, what? But I'm glad I did, because I suppose it's a real diary for me of that first year with Teddy. And hopefully it helped some people, and some people enjoyed it. But for us, it's such a precious reminder of that first tricky year of becoming parent.
I think I've got time for one more question, and it's from Christina Reeves. She says, are your boys quite close in age, and do you find you're going to benefit as they get older that they'll be able to play together? I think, I don't know if we've lost you, Alex. Such a shame. It's the last. Oh, you can hear. Oh, we can hear you. I think you might have gone. Oh, you can hear. I don't know if we can see you, but everyone can hear you. Can you answer that question? People, unfortunately,
yes, I can. You've you frozen for some reason.
You have disappeared from me too. It could be that we're literally coming to the end.
Let me do this, and then I'm going to in here.
Yeah. Oh, I think you might have gone now. I think it's gone. Oh, unfortunately, that's happened. Thank you to Alex for joining us today, and I'm sorry if you can't hear either. I think she seems to have cut out or frozen, or maybe it might be ours. But thank you to everybody who's watched this. And Alex, if you can hear me, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you on stage. Oh, thank you, and enjoy the show tonight. We'll be watching.
Loads of love. Have a lovely weekend. Bye. Bye.
Bye. You too. Bye.